Hello everybody, NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers, and I'm not. Just Dom, the darling old man. I've been looking back from when I first started, and I guess I'll ask you guys and gals a very simple question. Why POTA? What started you in POTA? What were you looking for in POTA? So I wanted to share some things with you for those of you that haven't even thought about it, or for those of you who have thought a lot about it. Disclaimer, I got off of ham radio for 10 years, just about 10 years, because I got fed up with clicks. I got fed up with, I got to be better than yous. And the 2-meter just wasn't fun. It sounds like everybody wants to do their thing at certain social functions, and if you didn't fit into a classification of a job or sorts, you looked down upon. If you were a technician and they were an extra or advanced or general, they looked down upon you and made you feel like you haven't done much. So after 10 years of that crap, I said adios amigos and just put the radio away. Somebody mentioned to me about POTA from our local club. So I said, well, let me go check it out. And I had to go back into the storage unit. The equipment sat in the storage unit for 10 years. Bring it out, plug it in, pray it started, and continue on. And I've been running ever since then, because what I have found with Parks on the Air is a very unique way of operating. I sometimes call it field day every day. You don't have to have a contest to go out and make a lot of contacts. But in the process, you have a lot of learning experiences that are going to show up. Let's just talk about some of them. If you're new, we welcome you to Parks on the Air. We really do. You're needed here. There is no best radio, so if you got that question in the back of your head, park it. Watch and listen to other operators operating their devices, their radios, and get their opinions, yes. But there's no best radio. When you're relatively new, you get into what can I afford, so that's going to be the best radio at the time. And again, let's go back to what is the best antenna. Some people like vertical, some people like mag mount, some people like dipole, some people like G5RV, some people like NFEDs, some people like delta loops. And as you're hearing, there's several different styles, even some that do gutter antennas and slinky antennas. And if you get with Crazy Dan, Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November, he'll even load up QRP, a ladder, an electrical box, a guardrail, a railroad track. And where I'm going with that is there is so much that you can experiment with and learn by joining and being with the Parks on the Air people, because I guess we're all pretty crazy. But it helps you and trains you to be a better operator. It seriously does. The waiting for pileups and understanding what a pileup is, and how to maintain a pileup by going QRP instead of QRO. By going to the advanced section or extra portion of the band instead of the general portion of the band, so that you can control your pileup. You'll learn the different styles that different activators function like. I'm unique. one of a kind. God didn't make two of me, but there's me, myself, and I, and all three of us agree on that. Curtis, excellent, excellent operator. He has his style. Carrie, excellent operator. She has her style. James, excellent operator. He has his style. Not a single one of us that I mentioned, and that's only one out of 1,000 activators that I'm familiar with, act alike. That's because what you're going to learn as an activator is how you're going to operate your activation. There is no book of Hoyle that says you have to do it this way. Some of us will log on paper. I do. Some of us will log on a laptop. I don't. Some of us will log on apps on their phone or tablets, that type of thing. I don't. But that doesn't make any one of us better than the other. All that really does is makes us familiar with what we're doing at our activation at the time. But my battery doesn't go dead on paper. And the sun doesn't affect my device and overheat my device because I'm using paper. So I'm partial to paper and pencil, okay? As a hunter, one of the things that I really ask you to look at now that you're hunting activators is don't feel empathy or sorry for them. If it wasn't for them, you'd be sitting there hunting for another net to complain about your hip or something. But that activator or activators, they're traveling all over. We've got over 60,000 parks worldwide and growing. But those activators, whether they're in an RV or they're hiking in or they're doing like I do, going to a park and setting up for 3 or 4 hours, or getting on a rove where they'll run 5 to 50 parks in a 24-hour UTC day. But each one of those activators has to generally plan and prepare where they're going to be, know that the park that they're in is where they are saying they're at. And they have to fight all sorts of elements, from cold temperatures to pouring down rain to flooding road conditions to 100-degree temperatures outside. There's a lot of variables that activator is doing so that you, the hunter at home, in the convenience of your own home, with your beam, and I'm not knocking beams, with your KW, I'm not knocking power. I only believe that, or wish to believe as an activator, you'd use what is necessary to make the contact and not overkill. But so many people seem to want to be at the front of the line. And as an activator, I want you to realize I'm listening to 20, 30, 40 of you people all at one time talking. What a hornet's nest. So learning the style of the activator, whether they're going to take by call area, they're going to take the front part of your call sign, they're listening for QRP, or they're listening for DX, or they're listening for just specific suffix. Listen, please, hunters, and don't be offended by me saying this. If I ask the whiskey 4, don't come in Kilo Oscar, because that really gets under my skin, and I can't speak for other activators. But if I'm asking for a whiskey 4, don't come in as a Kilo Oscar 4, because I'm specifically listening for one call, and it ain't yours. Again, all of us are different how we do it. For myself, for those of you that don't know me, when I paper log, I take a list, I take partials, I fill in the blanks when I come back. That's how I'm able to maintain what I do. Some people got good memories. They can remember 2 or 3 calls before they take another QRZ. Hunters, each one of us are different. So as you're learning the new people in the bands, follow them. They will teach you how they want you to make contact with them and do it respectively and quickly. As an activator, my fun starts with you, the hunter, period. If I didn't have the hunters out there, it would be like me getting on 10 meters, and I'm only using this as an example, and just calling CQ, 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 hello, CQ, CQ, CQ. And just keep calling, hoping somebody will swing by. With Parks on the Air, the advantages that we have is the spotting page. I ask you to please experience the spotting page and teach yourself how to use it. Teach yourself when you work somebody that maybe you'll take one moment and do a respot for that activator. If an activator has a pile up, they don't have time to respot. I'll say it again. If an activator is in a big pileup, they do not have time to respot. They're trying to catch all the pileup. So that's where you become a valuable tool for the activator as a hunter. If a activator marks their contact when you go to the spotting page and it says QRT, or it says QSY. Okay, and you work them and they already mentioned on the air that they're getting ready to QSY or they're going to go QRT. Don't respot them. Do not respot them, and the reason is simply this. If I indicate I'm QRT and I work one more contact real quickly, and then you respot me, well, that spot's going to sit there for 30 more minutes because I had already unplugged my system. I already marked it QRT. You went behind me and marked it I was there, and you gave me a 5.9 and from the state of North Carolina. Well, it'll sit there for another 30 minutes. The reason I mention this is if somebody says they're going QRT or they are QRT, let it go at that. If you made the contact, that's awesome, but don't respot them because they're trying to get out of there. They may have a dental appointment. They may have a husband and wife issue they got to take care of. They may have to go to the bathroom. Simple things that you don't realize because you're sitting at home, and there's nothing wrong with sitting at home. I don't come from a ham-friendly house, so I have a end fed up in a tree 20 feet. The radio is on when I'm in the room by the nightstand. And the reason I share this is I don't sit there because it's no fun at my house when the spouse doesn't want to hear that noise. And some of you might relate to that. So that's why I go out. I've learned about batteries. I've learned about propagation. I learned about how to set up different types of antennas, build different type of antennas. Oh gosh, I've done so much learning just practicing how to be a better operator under adverse conditions, listening to weak signals and things like that. That's what Parks on the Air is going to do to you. It's going to teach you how to become more proficient in your hobby of amateur radio, whether it's CW, whether it's slow scan TV. Yeah, there's some activators that run slow scan TV, or FT8, FT4 digital. So there's a lot you have in front of you. It costs you nothing except your time. And when we go out as activators, we appreciate you, hunters. Please try to learn each one of us. I know that's a task. How we operate, and you'll find that you'll be able to work that pile up or work that contact that you're seeking. If you work me on 20 meters, I'm in 3 parks rather, and I go to another band, work me again. And when I go back to the first band, don't work me again because you've already worked me on that band in those same parks. If I were have to changed parks, then you could work me again and that would count. May God bless. I hope this answers some questions. I'm getting ready to go in and have worship this day. And I'll be praying for all those amateur radio operators that have specifically asked me to keep them in prayer for their medical, financial, and other reasons that they ask me to pray, because that's what I do. May God bless you. Have a super one. We'll catch you on the air. And if the Lord takes me home, I'll always be looking down upon you. November Charlie 4 X-Ray Lima, NC4XL, North Carolina for Extreme Lover. I'm not just dumb.